Welcome to Gone Riding. Today, we went to Reiter Foothills ORV Park. It used to be known as Reiter Pit. It used to be a very large, unregulated ORV park, and it was extremely popular. I believe it was around 10,000 acres. But over the years of trails going through streams, people dumping garbage, stealing cars, taking them up there, shooting them up, all that stuff. In 2009, the state shut it down, and in 2012, they started their slow reopening, initially just on weekends, and in 2016, they opened it up more full-time. It still has operating hours, 9 to 5 during the winter, 9 to 7 during the summer. But over the years, they've added several more trails. It was pretty limited at the beginning. Looking over to the left here, you can actually see some of the old trails, the old Reiter Pit area. At that point, none of it was designated as ATV trails, 4x4 trails, dirt bike trails, but that is how it's set up now. According to the state, there are currently, as of April 2023, 5.7 miles of single-track motorcycle trails, 10.4 miles of ATV trails, and 6.8 miles of 4x4 trails. There are pros and cons of not having just an unregulated open area to ride. You don't have nearly the mileage of trails that we used to. There used to be, I'm sure, well over 100 miles of trails at the old Reiter Pit. But one of the pros, when I take my kid out riding, I don't have to worry about trucks flying down the road at 80 miles an hour, coming around a corner and taking us out. It may be limited, but the area is far cleaner and I'm sure a lot safer than it used to be. This was my first time back up here since before they closed. We had a fun day of riding. It was a good time, and that's all that really matters in my book. Up ahead of me is Zane. He's riding a 2020 KLX 230 dual sport, and I am on a 2022 KLX 300R with a dual sport conversion. We had a few problems with the 230 throughout the day. The battery was going bad, and I didn't realize it until we got there. So anytime that the bike stalled or got shut off, we had to jump it, which was a pain. But I did bring my little Tusk jumper pack, so we didn't have a problem. Here we're coming up to the ATV and dirt bike area, Area 6. It's about 2.5 miles up from the 4x4 area.
Looks like there's one to the left right here. Yeah. I think. Whoa, where are you going?
This is Zane's first time really riding trails on the bigger bike. He was on a XR 100. I think he did really well. We didn't ride too many single track trails just because of the problem with the battery. But about 4 miles beyond the main area with all the trails going up the gravel road, there are some viewpoints, some vistas to check out. So we went up, looked at those.
I'm behind you.
Still had a good day of riding.
Kind of cool trail. Remember, don't look at the rocks, because then you'll hit them. Look at where you want to go next to the rocks, and then you're more likely to Doing great though, bud. Yeah.
In my opinion, this is a great place to take beginners. You don't have to hit the trails if you don't want to. You can stick to the gravel roads, and at least the trails that I've ridden so far are relatively easy. They're a little rocky, and there's some roots sticking out, but overall they're fairly curvy and flowy. Nothing too crazy. And this right here is why we always wear motocross boots. Any lesser shoes may have resulted in a broken foot. And looking at the shift lever will give you a good idea of just how hard that hit. Actually bent it back a little bit too far. This last section of trail, Zane was able to shift down into first, but he could only shift up into neutral because it was hitting the case. A little further up the trail, I had to adjust it out a hair.
Alright, don't. Okay. Oh shit, there we go. Okay, I see you.
This here is that Tusk jumper box. I highly recommend it. I got it from Rocky Mountain ATV.
Let's see.
We probably jumped the bike 6 or 8 times with it, and it showed it had about half charge left. It's easy to use, real small, and definitely gets you out of some sticky situations. At this point, we're just going to head up the road, check out some of those vistas, get some pictures, take a little break. With all the battery problems on the bike, I forgot to check the battery in my GoPro, so it died before we got to any of that stuff. But I added the pictures I took to the end of this video. So at least you'll get an idea of what we're looking at. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Reiter Foothills ORV Park. It's not what it used to be, but I think they're going in the right direction. And I gotta give a shout out to this guy. He was unloading in the parking lot when we were loading up to leave. That thing's pretty slick. Later, nerds.